Get your hands off me. I'm mourning my son. The old man's voice cracked through the crisp morning air, echoing across the silent graves of Section 60 at Arlington National Cemetery. Sergeant Major Harold Hawk Whitaker stood trembling, one knee planted at the base of a fresh gravestone. In his wrinkled fingers, he clutched a folded flag and a single white rose. The name etched into the marble read, Corporal Eli Whitaker. Killed in action. Kandahar, 2022. It was Memorial Day. Hawk had come every year, since the day his boy came home in a box. But today, something was different. Two private security contractors, hired by a visiting dignitary, stepped too close. "Sir, this area is temporarily restricted. We'll need you to move," one of them said without meeting his eyes. Hawk didn't flinch. "You move," he growled. "This is my son's grave." The contractor, barely 30, muttered into his shoulder mic. The other reached down. "We're not asking." Then the crackle, the scream, a flash of light, and the sharp thump of a man hitting the grass. Hawk had been tased. A child screamed. Phones were raised. "You tased a vet," someone shouted. The crowd surged, horrified. Across the cemetery, flags fluttered, and the wind carried a strange silence, like the spirits themselves were holding their breath. The two contractors stood frozen, one holding the taser, the other fumbling with his ID. The veteran lay on the ground, white rose crushed, flag sprawled across his chest like a second burial. Then, a stirring. At first, no one moved. But from the edges of the gathering, people began stepping forward. A woman in uniform, U.S. Navy Lieutenant Commander, knelt beside Hawk. "Sir, can you hear me?" Her voice trembled. Hawk groaned, pushing up with shaky arms. "I fought for this ground." "You think you can push me off it?" Someone helped him sit. Blood trickled from his lip, but his grip never loosened on the flag. Then a man in a dark suit emerged from the black SUVs parked nearby. Congressman Daniel Foster, an Iraq vet-turned-politician, had been there for a photo op with visiting foreign officials. He saw the chaos, the veteran on the ground, and froze. "What the hell happened?" Foster demanded. One contractor muttered, "He was in a restricted—" "He's a Gold Star father," Foster snapped. "You don't touch him, you salute him." By now, nearly 50 people stood still. Even the sound of traffic from outside the cemetery felt distant. Cameras were rolling. A Marine captain stepped forward from the crowd and knelt beside Hawk. "Sergeant Major, permission to carry you?" "No," Hawk said, struggling to rise on his own. "I walked into war. I'll walk out of this." With every muscle shaking, the 83-year-old veteran stood. He turned, faced the men who tased him, and said nothing. Just stared. Then, slowly, he looked toward his son's grave. He knelt again, placed the white rose at the base, folded the flag tighter, and whispered something no one else heard. 7 minutes had passed since the taser had fired. 7 minutes, and the world had shifted. Congressman Foster turned to the press. "Let it be known, no American, especially not those who've paid the price of freedom, should ever be silenced or struck down for mourning." The contractors were escorted away. Their agency later issued an apology. But the damage was done. The footage hit the internet in minutes. By nightfall, #TasedVet was trending on every platform. Thousands of veterans posted their own stories. Millions demanded accountability. But for Hawk Whitaker, the only thing that mattered was that he finished the visit. On his terms. Backstory floated from the crowd. Hawk was a Vietnam legend, awarded the Silver Star for dragging 3 men from a burning helicopter. His son Eli had followed his footsteps into the army, deployed twice before he was killed by an IED on a routine patrol. Hawk raised Eli's kids, came every Memorial Day in full dress uniform. He never asked for attention, only silence, and the space to grieve. What happened that day wasn't just injustice, it was a rupture of national conscience. The image of a decorated vet being tased while mourning became a symbol for forgotten warriors, for fathers whose grief never ends, for a country sometimes too busy to remember its own. 7 minutes after Hawk hit the ground, the street outside the cemetery had filled. Veterans from every era stood shoulder to shoulder. Some saluted, some held candles. No words, no signs, just presence and silence. a silence more powerful than sirens. At dusk, Hawk rose once more, gave a final salute to his son's headstone, and walked, limping but proud, past the stone faces who lined the path. Every man and woman he passed stepped aside. No one spoke. Then, as he reached the gate, the silence cracked. A single soldier clapped, then another and another, until the whole street shook, not with anger, but with honor. The old warrior didn't turn around, he just whispered, he'd be proud. Before we end this story, let us know in the comment, where are you watching from? If this story touched you, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and drop a karma in the comments below.